Good morning everybody. In this video you will find explanation of part 2 of Act 1 Scene 2. So let's begin with the text. Nerissa. What think you of the Scottish lord, his neighbour? What is your opinion regarding the lord from Scotland who is his neighbour? That he hath a neighbourly charity in him. I think he has a charity for his neighbours, for he borrowed a box of ear of the Englishman, and swore he would pay him again when he was able, because he was given a blow on the ear from the Englishman, and he promised to pay it back when he was able. I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another, and the Frenchman he guaranteed that he would help the Scottish lord pay his debt to the Englishman. Here reference is made to the continuous assistance that the French gave the Scots in their quarrel against the English. Nerissa. How like you, the young German, the Duke of Saxon, his nephew? What is your opinion regarding the young German, the Duke of Saxon, his nephew? Portia. Very wily in the morning when he is sober. He is very bad in the morning when he is at his best, and most wily in the afternoon when he is drunk, and still worse in the afternoon when he is drunk. When he is best, he is little worse than a man, and when he is worst, he is little better than a beast. When he is at his best, he is a little worse than a human being, and when he is at his worst, he is little better than an animal. And the worst fall that ever fell, I hope I shall make shift to go without him. And if the worst thing happens that could ever happen, I think I can manage without him. Nerissa. If he should offer to choose and choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will if you should refuse to accept him. If he decides to choose and chooses the right casket, then you have to refuse to obey your father's will if you refuse to accept him. Portia. Therefore, for fear of the worst, I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. Rhenish wine is a white wine which is made from grapes grown in the Rhine Valley. Here Portia says, I request you to keep a glass of Rhenish wine on the wrong casket. For if the devil be within and temptation without, I know he will choose it. Because if the devil is inside, and as long as the temptation is outside, I am sure he will choose the casket on which the wine is kept. I will do anything, Nerissa, ere I will be married to a sponge. I will do anything, Nerissa, before I marry a drunkard. Nerissa. You need not fear, lady, the having of any of these lord. You need not be scared, lady, for marrying any of these lords. They have acquainted me with their determination, which is indeed to return to their home and to trouble you with no more suit. They have informed me of their decisions, that is, to return to their home and not to trouble you any more with request of marriage. Unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's imposition depending on the casket. Unless you can be won by some other means than your father's condition imposed on based on the choice of casket. Portia. If I live to be as old as Sibylla, I will die as chaste as Diana. Sibylla is a prophetess in Roman mythology. Apollo granted her as many years of life as there were grains she held in her hand. Here she is used as the traditional old woman. Diana, she is the goddess of virginity in Roman mythology. She was also the goddess of hunting and of the moon. Here Portia says that she wishes to live as old as Sibylla lived and die pure as Diana, that is, unmarried. She wishes to die unmarried unless I be obtained by the manner of my father's will, unless I can be won by the way my father has decided. I am glad this parcel of wooers are so reasonable, for there is not one among them but I dote on his very absence. I am happy that these group of suitors are so reasonable to leave, because there is not even one among them whose absence I do not long for, and I pray God to be with them in their journey back home. Do you not remember, lady, in your father's time, a Venetian, a scholar, and a soldier that came hither in company of the Marquis of Montferrat? Don't you remember, lady, in your father's time, when your father was alive, a Venetian, a man from Venice, who is also a learned man and a soldier, came here in company of Marquis of Montferrat. Marquis of Montferrat, it is a title of an Italian nobleman. In this speech, Nerissa is trying to remind Portia of Bassanio, who had once visited Belmont when her father was alive. Yes, it was Bassanio. I think so was he called. Yes, he was Bassanio. I think that was his name. Here Portia remembers Bassanio very well, but she is trying to hide her excitement. True, madam, he, of all the men that ever my foolish eyes looked upon, was the best deserving a fair lady. Yes, madam, he is, of all the men that I have looked upon, the best who deserves you. Portia. I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of thy praise. I remember him very well, and what I remember makes me agree that he is worthy of your praises. Enter a servant. How now, what news? Hello, what is the message? Servant. The 4 strangers seek for you, madam, to take their leave. The 4 strangers need your permission to leave. Here Shakespeare speaks of 4 strangers, and earlier in the scene he had mentioned 6 suitors. There are different reasons for Shakespeare having written this. Perhaps he seems to have forgotten that 6 suitors have been mentioned, or the Scottish and English lords were added to the scene to amuse the audience, or perhaps the servant does not consider 2 suitors to be worthy enough to be mentioned. And there is a forerunner come from a 5th, the Prince of Morocco, who brings word, the prince, his master, will be here tonight. And there is a messenger from the 5th suitor, that is the Prince of Morocco, who brings news that his master, the prince, will be here at Belmont tonight. Portia. If I could bid the fifth welcome with so good heart as I can bid the other four farewell, if I could bid the fifth suitor welcome with equal happiness with which I bid the other four farewell, I should be glad of his approach. I should have been very happy to hear of his arrival. If he have the condition of a saint and the complexion of a devil, I had rather he should shrive me than wive me. If he happens to have the virtues of a saint, but the black complexion of a devil, then I should prefer to have him for religious confession, that is, to hear my sins and grant forgiveness as a holy man does, rather than as a husband. Come, Naresa. Sirrah, go before. Sirrah is a word which is used to address the servant. Sirrah, lead us. While we shut the gate upon one wooer, another knocks at the door. So as we are getting rid of the four suitors, another is waiting at the door. Exeunt. Everybody leaves the scene. So with this, we end the explanation of part 2 of Act 1, Scene 2. Thank you.